Happy birthday, America. Today is July the 4th, 2019, and I want to talk to you and hopefully educate you about this great nation of America. I'm a proud American. I'm proud to be a citizen of the greatest nation the world has ever known. So I've been watching Facebook today, and I've seen everybody's post on Facebook about America. And I'm going to be honest with you. Some of you people just need to move to another country. I mean, I'm just going to be real. If you hate America so much, just ta-ta, just poof, be gone. I mean, what? You're part of the greatest nation on the face of the earth. And you speak about this great lady, the United States of America, like she's a monster. Now, I know there's a situation going on at the border, and yes, we're going to talk about that. I realize what I'm fixing to teach is very sensitive, highly political, and if you're my friend and you're watching and you disagree with me, I love you anyhow. I'll still worship the Lord with you, but I do believe we've been misinformed about this great nation. Here's what we're going to discuss. You might want to hit the share button. And if you want to say something, type it in. I'll be happy to answer the question or respond or whatever the case may be. Number one, America, somebody said this nation was born in rebellion to King James. We were born in rebellion to the King of England. No, we were not. If you know American history, hey, Brother Michael, happy 4th of July, my brother. If you know American history, America was not born in rebellion. America was established by God himself. Now, before we go any further, I want to settle something with you. When we came to the United States of America at that time, we were completely loyal to His Majesty, the King of England. We were loyalists. We were obedient to His Majesty. We did not come here to get away from the King. We did not come to the United States in rebellion to anyone. When we came here to the Jamestown colony, the citizens of that colony were citizens of England. Jamestown was a colony of England. Everyone there was loyal to the crown. That was the first colony in these United States. So to lie and say that we were born out of rebellion is not correct. Now, rebellion came later, but that rebellion was justified. And here's why. The King of England quit governing us. The King of England sent us over here, and he took taxes, but we were not part of the nation. He pretty much excluded us and made us stepchildren with no voice in the American government, the English government, Parliament, no representation. He pretty much said, y'all govern yourself and send your taxes to me. He did not govern these colonies as he should. So our elders got together and determined that if we were going to be forced to govern ourselves, then we would create a government and declare our independence from the crown, because basically, hey, Uncle Shane, who is that? The Raging 50. Anyway, hey, whoever you are, I don't know who that is, but listen carefully. The next thing we need to talk about is, did we steal this land from the Indians? You know, everybody talking about the border crisis. Oh, hey, little Wren. Hey, buddy. Love you, man. All the border crisis that's going on. Everybody's like, you know, we're holding them people at the border when this isn't even our land. We stole this land from the Indians. We don't have no right to say who can come in or who can leave. This is not even our land. That's a lie. That is not true. You need to quit being stupid. Quit talking if you don't know what you're talking about, because you embarrass yourself and you delegitimize history. We stole nothing. Let me break it down for you. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. This land belongs to Yahweh. And the Bible says in the beginning, he set the habitations in that land for different people to dwell. Now, this very same God, this very same Yahweh, also told Israel to go forth and conquer all of the land so that it could be used for his glory. Now, I want you to deal with that for a minute. What kind of God would tell Israel to go kill all their enemies and take their land? A God that had a purpose for his land. That's his land. This land doesn't belong to you, me, or the Indians. It belongs to God. So what determines who's going to settle on that land? International law. Now, I want to teach you about international law. You and I live in a jungle. We do not live in the millennium kingdom of peace. We live in a jungle. There's one rule in the jungle. Are you ready? Conquer or be conquered. That's the way it works, children. Kill or be killed. In this jungle, if you cannot defend your territory, you will lose it. It's the way of the world. From the beginning of time, land has been rightfully claimed by conquering the enemy. The United States of America tomorrow could be conquered. And if we don't pay our debt to China, that may very well happen one day. The only reason it has not happened yet is because we can defend this homeland. We're very well able to defend it. But tomorrow, if China conquers America by international law, if they wage war and defeat us, guess whose land this becomes? The conqueror, China. All of a sudden will no longer be the land of the free, will be the land of the communists. And by international law, it would be their land. So you need to quit lying, saying we stole land from the Indians. No, we did not. We conquered the Indians. And by right, by international law, and I'm going to read that law to you. Let's read it real quick. Come on, quit being dumb. Educate yourself. Here is the 3 laws in international law. Number 1, that every nation possesses an exclusive sovereignty and jurisdiction in its own territory. International law number 1. If you have conquered a territory, then you have sovereignty over it, if you've conquered it. Number 2, that no state or nation can by its law directly affect or bind property that lies outside of its claimed territory. Law number 3, that whatever force the laws of one country have in another country depends totally on the municipal laws of the other country. Let me break that down for you. The laws of the United States of America are only binding in France if France has the same laws. But when you leave the United States, you become subject to the laws of that nation. Now, let's break this down. I agree, Rebecca Wilson. Now let's break this down. And listen to me carefully, because people talking stupid on Facebook today. When we came to the United States, when Christopher Columbus, when those original pilgrims came, there were approximately 700,000 Indians on this continent. 700,000. The city that I live in, just outside of New Orleans has about 250,000. So think of a city the size of New Orleans, just a little bigger. And that was the total population across the whole United States of America, 700,000. All right. Now, I want you to think about this. The Indians never laid claim to this land. No. They laid claim to their territory in this land. It's that simple. Wake up. Quit being dumb. The United States of America was never claimed by anyone. The Indians would move from one territory to another. While they were in that territory, they claimed that land. Now, I'm fixing to read to you the law of the Indians. And then you're going to shut up and quit being stupid. So 700,000 Indians claimed over this entire nation small territories. That's what they claimed as their land. Now, that was 3% of the United States of America was legally claimed by the Indians. They had no idea the size of this nation. They had no idea the magnanimity of this nation. They never laid claim to the far reaches of this nation. They laid claim to their small portion of the United States. 3%. Put up three fingers and say 3%. That's what the Indians claimed. Now, I'm going to read to you the law of the Indians. Now remember, international law, I just read it to you. The third law in international law says when you go into a foreign country, you abide by their law. Well, I'm fixing to read to you the Indian law that we abided by. Here you go. Number one. Everybody say number one. It was the law among Indians that the stronger of two tribes or nations had the right to conquer and subdue the other. Did you hear that? The first law in the Indian law said if the Cherokee was stronger than the Choctaw, the Cherokee had a right to invade the Choctaw and take their land, conquer them, and turn their people into their servants. Folks, that's the way of the world. From the days of the kings and what do you think? Caesar, Rome, what do you think they did? They went through conquering land, and guess what? They didn't steal land, they conquered it. And now it's theirs. Let me tell you something. If you cannot defend your house, I promise you, you don't own that house. You think you do because you got a bill of sale and a mortgage deed. You don't own your house. You own it as long as you can defend it. But if a bunch of thieves and robbers come in your home tomorrow and conquer you, they outgun you, they outmaneuver you, guess who now owns your property? You do. And you're going to be serving them dinner while they sit in your house. It's the way of the world, people. We didn't steal this land. We conquered this land. By right, we have the right to subject those that were conquered into servitude and to rule the land. The Indians said that the stronger of the two nations had the right to conquer. We abided by their law and we conquered them. We can't help that they were weaker than us. It's the law of the jungle. Kill or be killed. conquer or be conquered. The second Indian law, everybody say two. Number two, under Indian law, it was understood that land claims existed by inhabiting the land and by the use of the land. Here's what that means. The parts of the United States of America that the Indians did not inhabit or work were never claimed by the Indians. They only claimed where they lived and where they worked. Law number three, when any land was unoccupied or not used for 1 year, the land was free for anyone to claim or settle. We had the right to claim this land, to settle it, and to possess it. We were the conquerors. There may come a day when we're the conquered. At that point, we will become slaves to the conqueror. Now, when we conquered this land, there were places where the Indians had claimed territory. One of those places, and little Ren is watching me right now, and he was with me when we went and watched a play about the Cherokee Indians just a few weeks ago. I learned a lot from that play. Do you know that when we, as conquerors, took over this nation, that we had a right to totally make the Indians our servants, our slaves? We could have killed them all. But do you know what we did? We didn't do that. We told them, we want the land that you're on. We've conquered you. We have a right to it. But rather, we're going to provide you a home in Oklahoma. And not only that, we're going to pay you for your property. We wrote a check for $5 million for the land of the Cherokee. We gave them money. Every person got money for their property. And now it was a horrible ordeal. I'm not downplaying it, but they asked for a price. We paid it. Didn't have to do it, by the way, but we did. Now, another thing that we need to clear up. The first colony in the United States of America, Jamestown, we were friendly with the Indians. They were our friends. We lived in harmony with the Indians. What do you think Thanksgiving was all about? It was when the Indians helped us plant our gardens and they taught us we were friends. But do you know what the Indians did? They came into Jamestown and started a war. And do you know that in that war, 400 white men and women and children were massacred by the Indians? We never started war with the Indians. We settled among them on land they had not claimed. We claimed it. We did not come in at war with the Indians. We were friends. They started the first war. They killed 400 white men, women, and children. 400 of them. Immediately afterwards, we retaliated. And there came the long, dark history of war with the Indians. It lasted and went on until we conquered. We won. The Indian nation was defeated. Now, why did God allow that? God could have protected the Indians from the white man. Why did God allow that? Because he had a sovereign plan for this land called